Well, hello, my farmer friends. This is Corinna, and today I'm going to do a behind the scenes tour of my favorite email service provider, the one that I use, ConvertKit. Having a great email service provider is one of the key steps in the digital farmer marketing plan. If you don't have a good email service provider, you're not going to be able to follow up with those people that initially express interest in your brand. Remember, we've talked about how when people first find out about your farm, they're often not quite ready to buy yet. They haven't discovered whether they can trust you or not. And so they usually need a few weeks to warm up to you. And that's where the email service provider comes in handy because it can follow up after that initial contact and begin to give valuable information that builds that know, like, and trust factor. So having a tool, a good email service provider that can do the heavy lifting for you is important. And not all email service providers are created equal. There are some that have some features that really do go a long way. And so I'm going to just share with you the ConvertKit tool that I've used. I've used many different ones in the past. This is the one that I've settled on. It is a paid program. It's not a free one like MailChimp, but I think it's totally worth the investment because it does, like I said, do a lot of the heavy lifting for me. It brings those leads in and it nurtures them and gets them ultimately to turn into paying customers. So this is the dashboard of ConvertKit when you first open it. And I'm going to give you a quick tour through some of the different features. The first thing I want you to notice is that it tells you right away what your total subscriber count is at the time. In my case here, it's 1,677. You can also take a look at the bar graph and it will show you how those leads have come in over the last month. One of the features I really like is that when you hover over these different rectangles, you'll actually see which of the lead magnets were the ones that pulled in those subscribers. So you can see my vegetable storage guide on my homepage has been doing some work here. All right, then we want to look at the top of navigation bar up here. There are 5 different areas. There's forms, automations, sequences, broadcasts, and subscribers. And I'm going to be focusing on 4 of these today. But before I jump into those, I want you to notice that there is a customer service element that's really awesome in ConvertKit. If you ever have a question, you can click on the question mark, and there are 3 different ways that you can get answers to your questions. I often, to be honest, just click on this chat box because they do have a live chat feature. When you click on this button, you'll get someone within 15 seconds who starts talking with you and in most cases answers my questions. So I really love the tech support that's provided. As you know, sometimes we as farmers don't always know what's going on in the technology world, so it's really helpful to have that feature. And frankly, that's probably partly what you're paying for. Okay, we're going to get started today with the sequences because I want to show you where the drip campaigns are located. When you click on sequences, you can see here, this is where you would click to create a new drip campaign sequence. And then there's different rectangles on this page that are showing you the different campaigns that I have already in place. I'm going to show you a couple of them, and then I'm going to dive deep into one of them. So this first one here is my 2018 CSA Customer Welcome Drip Campaign. This is the orientation series that I send out to someone when they sign up for my CSA. I've learned that it's very important to do an orientation sequence because a lot of times customers have a little bit of buyer's remorse. They're not sure they made the right decision. So if you follow up right away with a value-laden email drip campaign, it really makes them feel like I made the right choice and kind of helps buy in that loyalty for them. So you can see here a summary, a 24-day sequence with 8 emails, and it tells you what the open rate is. It's actually a very high open rate. I think the average is 20 to 30% for most email marketers, but this is a really good one. It makes sense though. These are people that are highly engaged. They want to learn more about the product they just purchased. All right, I also have a 2018 early bird renewal launch. So these were the emails that I sent out to my current CSA customers from 2017 to try and get them to renew. It's showing that it's a 0-day sequence with 0 emails because I have deactivated it. It is no longer live. If I reactivated it, it would have a different number here and it would also give you some stats. But again, this is where I have all of those stored and ready. Okay, so I have lots of other different ones down here. Here's another one for my farmers market funnel. So people who subscribe to the form for my farmers market will start getting this sequence. It has 9 emails and takes 22 days. You can see it also has a high open rate. So let's dive into one of these. I'm just going to pop open this one so you can see what the builder looks like. This particular email campaign has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. So the different boxes over here on the left represent the different emails in this campaign. And as you write them, you put your text here in the main box. There's a text editor right here that allows you to do bullets and insert images, files, links. You can change the font size and the color. You can even personalize the greeting. Here's where you write your email subject. This is the button where you turn it into a draft form or publish it. So if there's one that you want to pull out of the campaign for some reason and no longer make it active, you could turn it into draft status, and then this would no longer show up in the campaign. You also get to tell the email service provider when you want each email to be sent. So you can send them all, one day at a time, or you can do, I can say I want this to go out in 4 days. I can say I don't want it to go out on Saturdays or Sundays, and it will automatically make those changes. You can also filter people out if there's a reason why you want certain people in your segment not to get this particular email. You could say, don't send this email to somebody who has maybe bought this particular product that's talked about in this email, for instance. So again, very powerful. So you can see I've got 8 different emails over here. You can see when they're supposed to be sent out. It gives you the basic topic to remind you what that email is about. And then if you want to add another one, you just click on this button and boom, there's another one. And here's a blank section here for me to start writing. Now we're going to take a look at the forms. The forms section is where people will fill out a opt-in or squeeze page. They exchange their email address for something of value that you're giving them, usually a lead magnet. So let me show you an example of what a form looks like on my website. This is a blog post about making your own broth with veggie scraps. And here is the form from ConvertKit that's embedded right in there using some JavaScript. So I'm going to show you how this kind of form is created in ConvertKit. We go to the forms section, and these are all the different forms that I have created. Some of them are on my blog somewhere hidden. And you can see that it gives you some stats for how they're doing, how many people have been to that page, how many subscribed to the form, what the conversion rate was. And so I'm going to take you to this particular one, the harvest calendar, because this is a form that I had to create in the builder, but it actually looks different because I have a landing page tool called Lead Pages that kind of syncs with the forms in ConvertKit to make them look prettier. So this is a page that comes up if you're on my website and you are looking around about my CSA program. There is a navigation bar menu option where you can see what's in the box, and then this box pops up and people can opt in to get the harvest calendar, a list of what will probably be in their box each week. It's a pretty popular lead magnet for me. So when they fill this out, this squeeze page out, and click this button, it talks to ConvertKit, to the form right here that I'm going to show you, and fills it out and tags them a certain way as a CSA lead. Okay, and that's all that stuff is set up here in the forms builder. So here's what that form behind the scenes looks like. You fill out your title and your subtitle information. You can change the color of the button by clicking on the wands and so forth. This particular form could show up if I embedded it on my website, like within a blog post. But like I said, right now I'm having it talk to Lead Pages, so that Lead Pages makes it look pretty like this. Okay, so when you go into settings of the forms builder, this is where you're setting up some of those key pieces. So down here is where I tell the form when somebody subscribes to you, I want you to automatically subscribe them to the CSA lead sequence. I'm going to make it mandatory. And that's what starts that drip campaign that I've written for this particular audience. Under incentive email, this is where I write the content that goes into the email that delivers the lead magnet to them. And this is also where I upload the particular PDF lead magnet that I want to deliver. Okay, so that's forms for you. Now let's take a look at subscribers. The subscribers lists all the different people that have shown up on your list in order. So these are the last ones that have subscribed. You also can click on this button and it'll show you the different choices. I can take a look at people who are unconfirmed subscribers. I can also look at all the people who have bounced or who are cold. Cold subscribers are people who haven't done anything on your list, haven't opened, haven't clicked on anything in 60 days. So I can take a look at those. I can either delete them or I can try to send them a win-back campaign to try and get them to engage with me again. Over here on the right-hand side of the column of the page, you're going to see a list of all my current tags. I create these tags based on different behaviors or products that my customer purchases. So you can see I have some for CSA 2018. I have labeled all of you guys digital farmer, people who have purchased a farm dinner from me, people who are on my CSA leads list. So I like to create tags because then I can create drip campaigns that target these very specific audiences. Or if I want to write a very specific broadcast email, a one-time email, I will be able to speak in a very specific way to a particular kind of customer. You can also do a search of a particular customer. So let's say that I'm going to want to find details out about a woman named Nike in my CSA. And if I click on her name here, take a look at this. You can see all the details about her. So I can see all the different forms she's filled out. I can see the sequences that she's currently a part of. I can even see all the different emails that she's currently received, whether she's opened them or not, or engaged with them. Over here on the right-hand side, you see the different ways that she has been tagged, and I can easily remove these if I would like to, or add one for that matter. All right, now let's take a look at broadcasts. Broadcasts are one-time emails that you send out to members on your list, and you can get very specific about who you send these to. When you open this up, you're going to see the past broadcasts that you've already sent and a quick report. So let's take a look at this one. Did you get deleted from Farmer Corinna? I sent this email out very specifically to my CSA members because I was calling the private Facebook group for them and I deleted some of them that I shouldn't have, and I wanted to let them know that so they could request access again. So as you can see, this got a really high open rate. That's crazy high, and a high click-through rate as well. These two emails here are technically the same email. Ouch, watch out for falling produce. I was announcing my CSA freezer challenge, but I was talking to my farmers market audience and everyone on my list pretty much except my CSA members. And then I wrote it again to my CSA members because I wanted to talk to them in a slightly different way. So you can see the different open rates. This was a much lower open rate to my general list than to my CSA list, which makes sense because my CSA members are a lot more engaged with me. So if I want to create a new broadcast, I'm going to click on this new broadcast button and it's going to open up a screen where I have to tell ConvertKit who I want this broadcast to be sent to. And you can be really specific about who you want to filter out. So let's say that I'm going to write an email to my entire list, but not my CSA customers, because I'm going to tell them the message in a different way. Since I know them really well, I speak a little bit more intimately to them. So I'm going to say, I want this email to go not to all my subscribers, but let's say anyone who's been tagged, maybe I just want to send it to my farm market people. And I can add that filter. And then I'll say, you know what? There are some people who are tagged as farmers market customers who are also in my CSA. So I'm going to remove the people who are in my CSA and say, matching none of the following people who have been tagged as CSA members for 2018, and I'm going to add that filter. And sure enough, the number of people, 473, that are going to get this email has gone down. Okay, so once I tell ConvertKit who I want to send it to, I'm going to click next step. And now my editor comes up where I begin to write the actual email. So I'm going to fill in my subject line here. I'm going to write my content. And then when I'm done, I can hit preview and it will show me what my broadcast will look like. This is where you can do some proofreading. And then I can schedule by clicking on this schedule button, and it'll allow me to pick the day of the month, even the time, down to 5 minutes, and schedule it that way. All right, so this is a really fast and easy way to write a broadcast. You can even copy broadcasts once you've sent them as a template if you're going to do a second version to a different audience, but kind of make a few tweaks. All right, automations is a pretty awesome tool as well. I'm not going to really go into that though, because it's a kind of an advanced feature that's just rolling out in ConvertKit. So I'm not going to spend too much time talking about that, but I do want to point out that there are things called rules, which you can find in the automation section. And this is where you tell ConvertKit if-then statements. So for example, I might tell ConvertKit that if someone clicks on this particular link, which is a form on my website somewhere, I want ConvertKit to automatically add a tag called farm market. And then I create a second rule where I say, when you've added that tag farm market, subscribe them to a sequence, the market customer sequence, and they automatically get added to that drip campaign. So this is a powerful part of ConvertKit because you basically create all your automation rules right in here. And then you can step back and you don't have to think about what's going on anymore. That is ConvertKit at a glance, folks. I really love this tool. And I just want to kind of go over why I think ConvertKit is such a great email service provider. Number one, I've already talked about how I really love the customer support. The tech support is fantastic. ConvertKit also has a reputation for doing really well with deliverability. It's not perfect, so some of my emails obviously still end up in people's promotions tags, promotion inboxes, but it does a lot better than some of the other ones. Another thing that I really like about ConvertKit is that it's just so easy to use. It's very intuitive, and I've looked at a lot of other different platforms, and sometimes they're kind of clunky or you can't find certain features very easily. That is not the case with this one. I also like the new automation features that are rolling out now. It's making it a much more robust tool than it was when I first joined. Plus the tagging features are just so fantastic. And so I can really speak to my customers at a very granular level if I want to just talk to a customer who is in this particular segment who hasn't bought this product but has bought this product. I mean, I can create rules as specific as that so that I can get them to do a particular action. Well, I hope this video was helpful for you. If you are in the market for a new email service provider, maybe this is something that's getting your mind spinning. Maybe you didn't even know you could do all of these things with an email service provider. This may be a tool that you're not quite ready for yet, or maybe you just kind of want to play around with the one that you have and see if your email service provider has some of these features. I would really encourage you to think long and hard before you migrate over to a new system, because although it doesn't take too much time to do that, it is a big commitment once you start hooking up your email service provider to lead pages and different forms on your website and your store and your Facebook pixel. It kind of becomes hard to unhook it all later on. So this is a commitment that you're making for the long term. I know ConvertKit offers a trial period, so you can kind of play around with it and see if you like it as well. I am an affiliate for this particular product, so if you decide that you like it, I would really appreciate it if you would go through the link that I'm going to put in the comment section of this video. And please let me know if you have any questions. I would be happy to talk to you about them. I really, really love this tool and I highly recommend it. Have a great weekend, and we will talk to you soon.